So this is Vakar Alisha. I am a doctoral researcher at the Center for Applied Language Studies, University of Jyväskylä, Finland. In addition to that, I am also working as a lecturer in English at Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshedpur, Pakistan. In today's session, I will be talking to you about how to prepare an effective research plan or research proposal for PhD studies. As a teacher and researcher, I always see many students struggling with preparing their research, proposals, be it for master studies or be it for PhD studies. But especially when it comes to PhD studies, your proposal matters a lot because it is one of the most important documents that is, considered, that is taken into consideration while reviewing your entire application at a certain university for admission or even for a scholarship purpose. So we need to, prepare our PhD proposal in a very, effective manner so that it should be, accepted by the team of experts and by the supervisors. Uh, Before, preparing a research proposal, it is very important to see the procedure for admission in PhD studies. Now, in some universities, what happens that they simply ask you to submit your research proposal along with the application, and which will be reviewed by the experts, and then you will be assigned a certain supervisors at a later stage during the entire review process. But in majority of the universities, it is completely different process. They always ask you to contact a certain professor who you think is relevant to the topic that you want to investigate, and you need to send your proposal to him or her along with your CV to convince him or her that you are actually the most relevant person he or she looking for. And definitely for that, we need to have a very thorough, detailed, and very effective proposal so that the professor should know that you already have some plan or some idea that you want to investigate at a certain university. So once it is accepted and reviewed by a supervisor, then it is submitted to the university along with the application package. Okay, and then it is reviewed by the supervisor himself because he will be the part of the team and also other members, and then they will make a decision. So it would be always in your favor that if your supervisor agrees to agrees with your plan and he just asks you to submit this plan along with major revisions or some revisions he or she has asked you to make, then that would be quite a favorable thing. So based on my own experiences, I would be sharing some of the general guidelines that might be helpful to you. For example, I always would recommend that whenever you apply for PhD admission or you're applying for PhD scholarship anywhere, first of all, you need to check with their guidelines for proposal, even for scholarships and even for the admission purpose. You need to check their guidelines. So different universities, they already have on their websites a set of guidelines to structure your research plan, and it is about the length and about so many things. I mean, so far the first thing is the length of the proposal. So normally we try to create a very detailed research plan, which is sometimes not acceptable in some of the university. There is a very strict policy for word limit that we need to meet. For example, in the European universities, as far as I know, when it comes to social sciences and humanities, they always ask you very short research plan. That means they ask you to prepare a research proposal of 3 to 4 pages, including references. And even in some scholarship in Europe, they ask you only a research plan of 3 pages, including references. So we always need to check their guidelines first. So that can be like 1,200 to 1,500 words. That's a short research plan that should be there. And some universities, they also ask you to attach a detailed research proposal as well, along with a short research proposal. So that means you have to prepare 2 research plans before you apply for PhD by looking at the guidelines. So one should be short. It should have everything that should convey a very clear message to the readers, the professors, our team of experts, examiners. They should be well aware of what you want to do, okay, through your document, which is short. At the same time, you can extend it, you can add more to it in your detailed research plan. That can be of 4,000 words, that can be like 10 to 12 pages, along with your appendices and references. And that can also be, kept separately. And if they ask you for that, you can also attach that one. And beside that, we also need to know that, sometimes in different universities, in admission process and in scholarship process, they always ask you to give them a short summary of your PhD research plan. And that's very challenging, like summing up 4,000 words or summing up, 1,500 words in just 300 or 250 words. That's very difficult, but we have to do it. And that is possible. We can do it with the help of people, the experts, okay, our colleagues. They can always help us. So you have to do that. And besides that, we need to look at the structure of the research proposal. Different universities may offer a different kind of set of guidelines for how your proposal needs to be structured. So you have to look at that particular guideline to divide your entire text into different parts, and what parts can they be. You have to set them accordingly. And in my next video, I will be talking about the general guidelines about what are the general, uh, elements in a research proposal. So how can it be structured? I will be talking about it. And second thing, which is very important, while preparing a research proposal, is your language. Uh, it happens that many students have language issues, and definitely when your research proposal has a poor language, it is poorly structured, and poor grammar is there, definitely it will affect the clarity of your entire proposal, and it would actually leave a very bad impression on the professors who are supposed to be your supervisor. So I would suggest that you always need to fix these grammatical issues in your proposal. Grammatical accuracy is very important. You need to check with the proper use of tenses and passive structures, punctuations, prepositions, and articles, and there are other grammatical mechanisms that need to be considered while preparing your proposal. And for that, definitely uh, you need to have better language skills. If you think that no, you lack some kind of language issues, then what you can do, you can ask others, okay, maybe teachers or maybe your colleagues, or maybe there are some editors and proofreaders. You can just send your draft to them, and they can fix your grammatical issue there. So it's very important that your proposal should be grammar error free. So if it is grammatically sound, then it will leave a better impression on the readers, the examiners, the supervisor. And definitely language counts most, so you don't have to take it for granted. You need to do it. And other thing is very important here, which is developing a coherence and cohesion in your writing through reverse outline strategy and transition devices. So definitely we need to make sure that our research plan is coherent and cohesive. That means we need to, develop a logical connection between the ideas and between the different paragraphs. Okay, we need to see that our, entire text is logically developed. It is well connected. Means there should not be a kind of, writing which lacks flow in ideas. So you need to develop it. I have just suggested here two strategies. One is a reverse outline strategy. That's again a very broader topic, and I would suggest you to just search about, search for reverse outline strategy, what it is and how it works. It is a really very important strategy that guides you to just, prepare your plan in a very coherent way. And it is always, done, at the end, once you start, making your entire proposal. And after that, you can just go for this reverse outline strategy, and that would help you to restructure and organize your thoughts and paragraphs into a coherent manner. So maybe in one of the videos I will be talking about the reverse outline strategy as well. And then transition devices are very important. Make sure that your proposal contains appropriate transition devices, and they are definitely connectors, linking words that should be you know added in your proposal to show the professor or the examiner or the committee that you really have a very good understanding of using transition devices in your language as well. And then the important thing is academic writing conventions. So most of the time it happens that we do not sound academic in our writing. People really have this problem. They are just using flowery language, they are using non-academic vocabulary, and they really don't know what is research writing actually. So research writing is very much different from other type of writing, like fiction writing is different, or creative writing is different. So research writing is a completely a different genre, and therefore we need to learn about the writing conventions that need to be included in research writing. And for that, there are different books written on academic writing and what need to be counted. For example, let's say if we take an example of tenses, then we cannot use all tenses in research. Let's say only few tenses have the place in research. For example, present simple tense and present perfect tense there is there. Or most of the time, the passive structure which is possible in the research writing. You cannot use, for example, the words like may or might in research, because may and might always show doubt. So the language of the research is not about the doubt. It is always a language of the certainty. So therefore, you need to avoid such certain modal verbs or tenses which show doubt and possibility and all these things. But you need to use certain strong words or modal verbs that show the surety in the language. Likewise, in uh, expression, there can be some expressions which can be non-academic that you have to avoid, like slangs are there, cliche, and maybe some colloquial expressions are there which are used in spoken language, but they cannot be ethically counted in our writing. So for example, let's say the phrases like vana, gona, gata, these are actually the colloquial expression. They can be used in spoken, but they cannot be used in our writing skills. So you need to learn about academic writing convention. That is really important for every researcher and for every student. And other thing is very important, which I must say, is about the technical aspects. Remember that, okay, once you have your ideas, you have put them on the paper, okay, but if they do not have the proper layout, and in layout means that you have to look at the technical aspects. For example, what is the font size? Okay, what is the font style, and what is the line spacing, or whether you have used any indentation or not. These things really matter a lot because the presentation of your proposal is very important. For example, we know that in academic writing is that Times New Roman. It's a very common font style that is used, and the 12 size of the entire text, and then the line spacing should be like double spaced 2.0. And then again, in some paragraphs you have to, for example, the first paragraph is not indented, but second and third, and then the rest of them are indented. But again, you have to look at the guidelines of the universities, what they suggest about the complete technical aspects as well. And then very important thing is your research proposal should have proper citation manual. For example, if you are a student of social sciences and humanities, definitely it's an APA style that is commonly followed there. And you need to make sure that, for example, in APA, now recently the seventh edition which is followed. So you need to learn about the conventions of APA in according to seventh edition. So what they do, how do they cite, and how the reference list is being prepared according to seventh edition, that needs to be incorporated in your research proposal. So you don't have to do it randomly, but you really need to be well aware of it, well read about it, and then you have to format it. And in other field like MLA is there, IEEE, Chicago. So we have different referencing manuals, and looking at the nature of the discipline and the field, you have to be well aware to what kind of manual you have to follow, and then be familiar with that, and then incorporate all the suggestion and guidelines in particular manual. And apart from all these general guidelines, the last important point, which is very very important, Never think that you have prepared a proposal and now it's done and you have just done it on your own. I would always say that you need to get your proposal reviewed by some other people. For example, there can be teachers from your field. Okay, they can just give you a very constructive feedback on it to improve further, or they can be colleagues. Okay, or there can be some students. The peer feedback is also very important. So you need to get your topic, get your entire draft or the short draft checked by different people to get feedback on the knowledge that you have added there, the research questions, the methodology that you are doing. Everything should be reviewed by some people before you send it to the university professor abroad. And besides that, if you think that it has a language issues, then I would suggest that if you can afford, then send it to some people to get it edited, to get it proofread. And once it is grammatically corrected, then it will sound, very good before we send it to professors. Or if you think no, you cannot afford it, then you can ask somebody to volunteer it. Maybe some people can help you to just revise your proposal in terms of language accuracy. So these are a few of the important steps. Once you follow it, I'm sure that whenever you send it to any professor, they will certainly consider you. And remember that do not prepare it in a very short time. It takes some time to prepare it, revise it, improve it, and then we actually send it to the university professors. This is how it works. And when you are sending it, definitely it should be an MS Word file along with your CV, and then well formatted email. It is sent to the university professors. But separate, but definitely you cannot send the same proposal to, let's say, two or three university professors at the same university. You can send it to one professor at the one university at a time, and wait for the feedback and see what they do. If they ask you to revise it, then further you have to improve it according to the suggestion that you get. In my case, it happened that I really improved my research plan, with the feedbacks coming from different university professors from different, countries. So that really helped me a lot. So the same can go with you as well. So thank you so much. In my next video, I will be talking about how to structure your proposal, what kind of parts can be counted there. So thank you so much, and best of luck for your PhD admission if you are planning to apply.